What's up, everybody? We are live at 5. It's Tuesday, May 19th. I'm Paul Wontorek.
I'm Beth Stevens.
And we're joined, as always, by Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello, everybody.
Your brick wall is like famous. Your exposed brick.
Thank you. I do it.
To me, it is. I didn't know you had it. And now I know.
Oh,
I
it's
know it
beautiful.
infinitely now.
No, it's very yes.
Hey, there are a lot of guests. There are a lot of guests on today. We don't normally do this. But who's here? Do you have all the names?
You know what? We have first of all, we have our former vlogger Andy Mientus here.
Yes, we love a former vlogger.
And he has a lot of friends with him, so I feel like he should introduce them.
Well, we're talking about Burn All Night, which is a musical. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to find out about it, and then you guys are going to listen to it. Everyone's going to fall in love with it, and it's going to become a huge thing, and you're going to be like, I remember hearing it first on Live at 5. But first, today's news.
Some of these off-Broadway shows got a fancy award today.
That's right. So the Off-Broadway Alliance Awards were.
I feel like every day we show a photo of a strange loop. That's what we do every day, right? We show
That's a strange loop, Mike.
That photo of a strange loop every day.
That's right, because A Strange Loop won Best Musical at the Off-Broadway Alliance Awards. Strange Loop is cleaning up award season, such as it is right now. This is the 10th annual Off-Broadway Alliance Awards, obviously honoring the best of Off-Broadway. Some of the other winners were Life Sucks was Best Play. That one was based on Uncle Vanya. And The Unsinkable Molly Brown is Best Musical Revival. The Woman in Black as Best Play Revival. And Dana H., which has also been getting quite a lot of
and Beth didn't get to see it. Beth didn't get to see it. She's very upset.
I had tickets as Best Unique Theatrical Experience. You can see the full list of winners on Broadway.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, and now there's a new way to honor the late, great Hal Prince.
I mean, we're going to be honoring the late, great Hal Prince, but the Drama Desk Awards have decided this year is the 65th Drama Desk Awards, and of course, it's going to be a little different this year. It'll be on New York 1 on stage on May 31st at 7:30 p.m., and we found out that they will be honoring the life of great theater director and producer Hal or Harold Prince. I call him Harold because I don't feel like I have the
Mr.
right
Prince.
to call him. It's like the Steven thing.
Yes.
It's Mr. Prince. Mr. Prince. Anyway, the Harold Prince Award will be bestowed annually for outstanding contributions to theater. And this year it's being given to him, right? That's how they're kicking it off.
Posthumously, yes.
He died last summer, July 31st, the age of 91. So this is just going to be every year we get to talk about the Hal Prince Award. I mean, we're always gonna be talking about Hal Prince, right? I mean,
now and forever.
You can't not. He didn't do Cats, though, Beth. He didn't do Cats.
I'm aware. Thank you.
You know who else didn't do Cats? Cynthia Nixon, but she is going to be part of the new director's cut edition of Viral Monologues.
Right. Beth, so, if she was in that Cats movie, who would she have played? Because that was a crazy cast. I mean, she could have been in Cats. Yeah, I know. Beth doesn't really know the Cats that intimately. Go ahead with the news.
I mean, I do like to say the word bombalurina. I like to say that word. Anyway.
That's what I was thinking.
But actually, this is Cynthia Nixon having her directing hat on, not her acting hat or her running for governor hat. So this is the 24-hour plays, have their viral monologues. They've been doing this for a while now, and it's very popular. And it gets released on IGTV. And so this time it's the director's cut. So Cynthia Nixon will be directing, Michael Urie, Sammy Cannell, Lee Silverman, and more with many collaborators. So check that out. It's all the information's on Broadway.com. But you get to see some people are actors and directors.
Is that true?
Maybe you didn't know that.
That's all the news, right? The news segment.
You know what? We're light on news. We're heavy on guests.
Yes, true.
Honestly, yeah.
We do. We are. Okay. Thank you so much, Beth. Hey, Caitlin, why don't you tell us who we're talking to today?
Gladly. Yes, you guys. So We got a whole lot of guests today, but first of all, this all became because Stage and Screen fave Andy Mientus is here with us with his Burn All Night collaborators, Van Hughes, Brett Moses, and Nick LaGrassa, and joining them is current Mean Girls star Krystina Alabado, and they're all going to be here for Live at 5 Home Edition, live on both Facebook and YouTube. Guys, the team is reuniting to reminisce about the show's world premiere at ART almost 3 years ago, and how its apocalyptic theme is a little bit timely right now. And they got a little special surprise to share with all of you. So make sure you guys stay tuned in, put all of your questions in the comments below, and please welcome Andy, and then all of his friends will join him after.
Hi! I'm live.
Thank you, Caitlin. Oh my God. Our shirt,
we should just get this out of the way, Paul.
Our shirts are really, it's like we didn't call each other. We did not call each other.
No, it's now official that Broadway, we've entered like the retirement community phase of our lockdown, and I'm here for it. It's fresh.
How many shirts of this type do you have in your closet?
Well, as a queer person, as many as required, which is several.
I didn't know it was a queer thing. If you know, there's guys that like Tommy Bahama stores, you know, sometimes they have. I have some news for those guys. Think of them.
I would like to say, based on the news, two things. One, that it is a tragedy that you didn't see Dana H, because it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And two, that Cynthia Nixon is definitely a Jenny Any Dots. That's just fact. That's just what it is.
I love when a guest comments on the news. It's so random. It's like they're just like, I have something to say about what you were just talking about. Well, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So we have to talk about Burn All Night.
Yes.
I missed Burn All Night. I am guilty.
I mean, blinking, you missed it.
Dana H, Burn All Night. Biggest regrets of my life.
Same category as artistic triumphs. Yeah, same, really peers, I would say.
And so this is what, 3 years ago, you did it up at ART.
Yeah,
Oberon.
We opened ART season, the same season as Jagged Little Pill at Oberon. So that's, for people not savvy, ART on their campus has a club space where they do the Donkey Show and other events called Oberon, which really is like a club that they've converted into a theater space. And so our show, Burn All Night, among many things, is about sort of club culture with this weird frame of the apocalypse. And we, in the development of it, we're talking about like, oh, like, what if we didn't do it in a theater? What if we did it in a space like Oberon, a space like Oberon? We kept talking about like Oberon. And then Jenny Coons, our director, was like, why don't we just take it to Oberon? And ART, you know, went for it and ended up, we were planning to do it as like a developmental thing, and then they put it in their season, and so that's where it played.
People obviously know you as a performer first.
Yes.
You were on a show called Smash. You guys actually, isn't that this week? Isn't it tomorrow?
It is tomorrow. Yeah, there's this
tomorrow,
video
the
that Kat has cut together of us all talking. It's very sweet. Yeah. It's very sweet.
The Actors Fund Bombshell concert and a little cast reunion as well. But this you have a whole other creative side to you.
Yeah.
And so I want to go back a little bit. Tell me about the party where the guy said he was going to die in 4 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So the impetus for the whole idea is that I was at a party in college, actually. Like a lot of the little vignettes that happen in Burn All Night are based on things that happened to me when I first moved to New York and was doing that whole thing. But at a party, this guy was talking about, he was like being really pessimistic and really kind of like anxious and talking about all these like crazy things with the world. And I was like, well, don't you think, like, I was trying to be an optimistic kid, and I was like, don't you think people are better than that, and the world's better than that, and everything will turn out okay? And he was like, well, it doesn't matter because I'll be dead in 4 years. And I was like, what a horrible thing to say. Like, oh my God, should I call somebody? Do you need help? And he said, no, we all will be. The world's ending on December 21st, 2012. And he really believed this. And this was the first I had heard about that Mayan calendar thing, about the end of the world. Right. And just this image of us all like sitting on this floor with like Solo cups and talking about the end of the world, and this guy being so like kind of flip about it and being like, yeah, it's gonna happen, and it'll be so I don't care about anything because this is happening. So I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. Really like said something to me. And this was at the time, this was the, you know, mid-aughts. And then we were really writing the show sort of in the 2010s when like social media was brand new. An Inconvenient Truth had just come out. And so like we were just all kind of catching wise to climate change. And so it was this kind of reaction to this growing anxiety about the world and the end of the world, and a reaction to like these things that suddenly were in everyone's hand all the time, because that was new, like the whole smartphone, social media, capturing everything, filtering everything. I sort of saw those things together in my mind, which led me to write basically a series of scenes, of vignettes about, you know, these various concepts, these characters I was encountering in my life, and these anxieties. And then I was becoming friends with Van Hughes at the time, and
let's bring Van Hughes in.
What a transition!
Who did not wear a tropical shirt for some reason.
hoping you would change while you were like off camera.
I almost did when you guys were talking about straight and gay and all that.
But you met Van Hughes in a bathtub.
I did. I met Van Hughes in a bathtub, which should have been a scene in Burn All Night, really. At my 22nd birthday party in Los Angeles, when I was on tour with Spring Awakening, our mutual friend Kira threw me an Alice in Wonderland themed birthday party.
Sure.
And I went to the bathroom to go pee, and Van was sitting in the bathtub. And we started talking and became friends. And that was how we met.
And now you're collaborators.
That's true.
And now we're collaborators.
And Van, so let's talk about this. You've been making music, right? And so let's sort of talk about how you came in and how this grew. And we'll bring your friends
in. He came to me with the scenes, like he was saying. He had strung them together and made a cohesive piece. And then we started talking about, what if the music was like the way that we felt about Hedwig when we first heard it, where it felt like actual music that you would listen to out of a context of a story.
Yeah.
And,
or like Cole Porter, like Cole Porter.
Like Cole Porter.
Yeah, like to take it all the way back,
I mean,
right?
there is a history of that, like writing music that works outside of the, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we wanted to play with, you know, modern genres, bands that we liked, Arcade Fire, The Knife, Grimes, things that we would listen to while going out. So that's sort of when we started writing songs for the piece.
Cool. And who'd you write songs with? Let's talk
well,
about
first
that.
it was just us.
Okay.
And then I was starting to write some music with my friend Brett Moses.
Here he is.
And there he is.
Hi, Brett.
Hello.
And we all started writing songs together. Yeah, you didn't do it either. And
nobody got the memo, Andy. Nobody got the memo.
Listen, I'm so sorry.
We're
I'm
not
an
serendipitous,
administrator.
Yeah, so we started writing music together, and it was flowing and working well. And Brett was in a band at the time with Nick LaGrasta, and then we started writing songs with him as well. There's Nick.
Hey,
Paul. And then it was sort of like the team was all together, and we kind of finished the show, rewriting, throwing things away, writing completely new ideas, so that by the end of the time writing the show, it felt like we were all in the show. You know, we all had our taste and our musical sensibilities.
Awesome. And actually, there's some pictures of the show here. I have some. This is because it was a really cool space. The audience was all around you, right? I mean, if that's like a nightclub. There's MJ Rodriguez, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She had shot the pilot of Pose, but it hadn't been picked up to series yet. So we all she had this time in her schedule. We'd kind of written this role for her, and she was luckily able to do it. And then I think the show got picked up while we were doing it. So she was about to start this whole chapter, and it was very exciting. And so I'm so thrilled where things have gone for her.
Amazing. And who's
we knew she was a star. And there's our star, leading lady.
Our leading lady, Krystina Alabado, who messaged me that she was at the party that I met Van at because we did Spring Awakening together.
What?
So she was at the proto moment of this whole thing.
Where is she? Right? Where is she today? Well,
she's here.
She is.
Hi, everyone.
I love the reveal. The reveal.
Yes, I was at the pivotal party that
Van and Andy met.
Really?
In LA. Yep. That was a really good birthday party, Andy, by the way. One of the best.
Thank you.
Still.
There was a moment which feels very on brand for the show where a girl had become sick. She had had a little too much to drink, and I won't reveal who it was, but it's someone
Neither will I.
And she was throwing up in the toilet, and there was a bidet also in this bathroom because it was like a fancy bathroom. And I was like, I gotta go take care of something. Just, you'll be fine here, but don't throw up in the bidet. Whatever you do, like, here's your spot. Don't go to the bidet. And I went and like took care of something, came back, and lo and behold, she had moved on.
One of my favorite stories of that time.
Scenes from my youth, you know.
Well, no one really knows what to do with the bidet in America, except James Snyder. James Snyder does.
Is he a bidet fan?
Yeah, he's very pro bidet. We talked about it on Live at 5.
Okay. Stay bidet.
So looking back, so why are we here today, Andy? Let's tell everyone what's the news? What's the hook? This is a 3-year-old musical. I want to see it. I want there to be a future for it. But what are we talking about today?
We're talking about today. So we've been thinking a lot about this musical and texting each other with reminiscences because it's about a group of young people reacting to this world event that's sort of outside of themselves. There's this kind of unseen apocalypse going on outside their bedrooms. And it's really examining, like, are we actually equipped for something so real life when we have become so involved in this thing and in ourselves, in our own image, and these very, like, sort of inconsequential questions, like when something really real happens, how is our generation prepared to react for it? And we chose to blow that out all the way to like an apocalyptic event. So now that we're all like inside, like fighting over frozen chickens in the supermarket with, panicked people, we're all thinking about this. And I was reminded, there was a whole sort of like isolation section of the show that I was encouraged to like cut several times because it was like a little slow. It was this party show, but then there was this part where everybody was trapped in this living room with jugs of water. And I was like, no, I really think this is something. And now we're all like having these social distance lockdown quarantine moments. And I tweeted something to the effect of like, I'm defending that scene in retrospect. And then I got like a bunch of responses since we did the show, people have been like clamoring for news about it, for material from it, because, we like learned a lot in that process, and it certainly wasn't perfect, but we did definitely make a lot of fans of the show. People really responded to it, and it became this little cult thing. And so, of course, with that tweet, I got a lot more, and I texted the guys. We hadn't spoken in a while, it's been some time, and I said, like, why don't we put something out? We have all these great tunes that no one's really heard before, and by virtue of these guys being such talented musicians and in a band, whenever they make demos, it's not like the demos you are used to hearing from musical composers, where it's the composer plunking out a piano and maybe singing. I mean, these are like produced.
They're so good.
I know, they're so good. You sent them to me. They're really good, yeah.
And so we sort of selected a handful that we thought spoke to this present moment and represented the whole. And Nick opened up the sessions again and gave them a little zhuzh, a little remaster, and we're going to release them today, immediately following this broadcast, as a little EP, available for free, completely for free on Bandcamp.
Free entertainment.
Yeah. In hopes that it gives people a little something to jam out to and dance to in their place while they hunker down. Maybe reminds people of good memories they had if they saw the show and had a good time, and maybe gets people interested so we can make and release more material down the pipe. My hope is that we can get all of it in a really produced package that we are proud of, like the concept album, at some point in the future. But this is what you have for now, and it's totally for free.
Paul, I tell the boys all the time at Mean Girls Stage Door, I loved you in Burn All Night. What's happening with Burn All Night? More than a lot of other shows I've done, and I've done quite a few shows, and a lot of people ask about this. They really do.
I gotta say, it's been such an amazing experience going to Broadway shows, like seeing Krystina's bio, seeing like, God, what else? Just people that were from our Gabby, who's in Evan Hansen, like seeing Burn All Night in Broadway bios is like so surreal and crazy to me. It's fabulous.
I love it.
It really is.
What was your character like, Krystina?
She was kind of stuck in a little love triangle, and but also had this best friend. I mean, that was the part of the show that spoke to me the most. Was Lincoln played my best friend in the show, and they really connected. And then the pivotal moment at the end of the the show, which I won't give away in case it comes back, but that, you know, they really connect as friends. And, you know, in this time, I've been thinking about Burn All Night too a lot, you guys. Before you even texted me, I'd been thinking about it, because everything, like if we were to do the show now, it would feel so different even from when we did it.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, when we wrote it, when we started writing it, it was very much about like the advent of social media, the like awareness of climate change, and like that specific after hours scene of like the mid-aughts. Then when we were doing it, the election had happened, and all of a sudden it like became about Trump in some weird way. Just like we couldn't help it. Just felt like the end of the world for a lot of people. And now I'm sure if we did it again, it would, even if we didn't change anything, it would feel like it was about this moment. But yeah, like
I think the thing to point out too, because in the show, right, we had what happens at the end of the world. We had people will party their brains out because who cares? The world's ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's people that like can't do anything at all. They're paralyzed with the fear that the world is ending. And then there are the people that just like return home and go back home. And it's so interesting.
Is that a parallel to what's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, and you can be like, oh, that's my friend that went home.
Yeah, like the scene Krystina's talking about.
Get out in New York or whatever, you know.
Yeah, the scene Krystina's talking about, it was her and the sort of like male protagonist. They grew up together and then like sort of reunite in the city. And so he goes to her place while the world is sort of crashing around them. And they talk about like what cookie they would want to eat from their local diner, which like in these Zoom calls I'm having with people, we keep talking about like, what are you going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do when we're like allowed? Right. And a lot of the answers are stuff like that. Like I want this really specific little thing from this place I love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love
it. Brett and Nick, do you come from musical theater background?
Not originally, no, but lately I've been working for MCC Theater as a sound supervisor. But you know, we're just on pause indefinitely, like everybody else is right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just the token indie rocker.
Indie rocker
brought my weird outside perspective to this awesome project.
But did it convince you that like theater can be cool and that you can sort of like bridge these worlds in an interesting way? I mean, as an outsider.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I can nerd out for sure.
They're huge fans of Broadway now.
Yeah.
I mean, love this. Look, Amanda's just like, oh my God, I just tuned in. Is this a Burn All Night reunion?
It is, man.
It is, Amanda. And wait, before we go any further, where can they get this? It's on, how do they actually download the music?
Nick. Look, wait.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Right there.
There it is.
Perfect.
Burn All Night. Bandcamp.com. Okay, cool.
Ooh, which songs are out? I'm so excited.
I can't wait for you to see.
Burn All Night. I'm typing it in.
Hit record, definitely.
I love that. Wait, Paul, I have to set this. You didn't get to see Burn All Night at ART, right?
No.
I'm gonna set this.
Is that it? Did I get it right? Is that right?
Wow.
Burn All Night.
Thank you.
All right, good. Okay, cool.
Wait,
I didn't get to see it. What'd you want me to know?
Well, just that it was in a, like, imagine going to a club. We were dancing with the audience, drinking. People could order drinks at the bar as we were moving around them. I mean, the photos that you showed, I mean, it was the coolest theatrical experience immersively that I had done ever, because we really got to party with the people. And anyone that saw it, I think that's why they connected so much, because they were part of the show. And sometimes that makes people feel uncomfortable, but in this way, it was like so badass. Sorry.
I have to show you. You guys have a lot of your fans are here. This is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Samantha's very excited. And let's see. Will said this is truly an all caps moment, which I love. I can't wait to dance to it during quarantine. Yeah, this music, by the way, you will dance to it.
Yes, you will.
It's fun. And then Brian just kind of threw in the mix of all the joy. He just said, I'm bummed about the Tonys. You know what, Brian? We all are, but we have some great music. We have some great. Elle is gonna scream. Yeah, it's very clearly you made a connection with people, which is
I mean,
and now it'll just grow.
It was such a funny place to do it because the space was so right and the theater makers were so right. Like Diane Paulus and the ART, they do really badass stuff, but it's also like in Cambridge and it's a subscriber audience. And so there were definitely like matinees of this show that like should never be a matinee show, where it's like people being like, what is this? Why don't I have a seat? I'm standing up. But then I will never forget on the final night, we like really managed. By that point in the run, we had really reached who we were trying to reach, I think, and word had gotten out a little bit. And on the last night, it was like packed to the gills with people that were there to party. And one of the songs that's on this little EP called Famous has like this hook that just like repeats and repeats and repeats, so you can learn it. And by the end, everybody was like jumping up and down and singing this, which was always my like dream for the show, was this, like, that's what it would be like. And for all of the like, you know, the trouble that goes into making a new musical and what you learn about it and how hard that is and blah, 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 blah. Like that moment was like proof of concept, like cherry on top, like full circle gratifying moment.
Yeah, that was a definite function moment. It was like, wow, it works.
Yeah,
look at
it
it
works.
So have you guys been working on the show in the last few years? Have you continued to?
We have, yeah. I mean, we had a retreat. Go ahead, Van.
Yeah, we had a retreat where we talked about restructuring and different ways in and out of the show. And I'm sure the next retreat will be completely different based on COVID, right? I mean, it's all...
Yeah,
it's a malleable piece. We can change it.
What was funny about the ART experience was that we had done a lot of work, you know, at music stands. We had done a lot of like typical workshop stuff, but we still didn't know quite what form the show wanted to take. Did it want to be the kind of thing where you all sat on like ratty couches in a circle and you watched a play very much happen in front of you? Did it want to be something where you're like on your feet, and did it want to be like Sleep No More or something where it's choose your own adventure and you kind of drift and see parts of it or don't see parts of it? And so we landed at Oberon in this developmental slot that was like the same thing that Once did, where it was kind of like an open ticketed rehearsal, basically, like or a ticketed workshop, to kind of figure that out. And then ART decided they actually wanted to like do the show as part of their season. And so all of a sudden we were doing it. And we had still all these questions about like, how much story can you take on your feet without a seat to like lean back into? How much are you going to be able to hear in a setting like this? Like, what does this show want to be? And so we, you know, there were definitely the function moments where like this functions. And then there were definitely moments where you're like, ooh, I wish this was not the right approach, but we couldn't know it until we got here. And so, yeah, we've gone sort of back into the bedroom alone phase to like restructure, because I think we learned that the function moments, it does want to be the kind of thing where you're in the party, where you're at the party and you're dancing and it's all around you and immersive, which means that you can't really do anything subtle. You can't really have like a Chekhovian little scene, intimate little scene where nothing really happens because like people will stop paying attention, things like that. So that's where we've been for a while. It's sort of like reconceiving how to tell this story in the vernacular that we decided works based on the experience of doing the show at ART.
For anyone who's just tuning in, Burn All Night is this fantastic musical. These guys wrote it, and this talented lady starred in it 3 years ago.
Love this Brady Bunch.
Yeah. And you can, and at that URL on the bottom, burnallnight.bandcamp.com, you can download and listen to four of the songs from the show and get into it. It's just sort of like it's
free. It's free, and it'll be free forever. And
like years from now, you're going to be like, oh, I was listening to it way back then. It's in your school now. I was listening to it during quarantine. Yeah,
I remember listening to Joe Iconis songs on MySpace when I was in college, like Blue Hair on MySpace. I feel like, you know, in a perfect world, it'll be like that.
I'm going to ask a fun question from Kimberly for everyone. Have you ever put something in your resume that has come back to bite you? Or did you ever lie in your resume and then get caught or have to?
Oh, that's a good question.
I was too afraid.
No, actually, I don't think anybody actually reads your resume.
I once was at an audition where they did that dreaded thing where they take your book from you and leaf through it to find what they want you to sing. They warn you about this in college, and I was like, that's never going to happen. And then, because like they're like, oh, we'd like you to sing this, and you're like, do I actually even know that anymore? Do I have that note today? And the guy, so I had Streets of Dublin in my book.
Oh my God,
Man of No Importance, which it was Steve Pasquale in the recording. It's got like high notes, you know. And the tone of the guy, the like MD, he was like, "Are you aware that you have Streets of Dublin in your book?" Like assuming that I like wouldn't be able to sing it. And I was like, "Yeah, I have it. Do you want me to sing it?" And it was this weird, like, "Yeah, I do." This like, "I dare you," like chicken moment. But I think I nailed it. So I wouldn't say it came back to bite me, but it definitely was tense.
Krystina, are you staying in touch with the Mean Girls company?
You know it. We talk all the time. Those girls, and we're always together. I Zoom with them more than anyone. We're a little family over there. I miss Mean Girls a lot, so we're just staying patient. How are you doing, Paul? I love that you're doing this. Now I'm going to watch every day.
I mean, we do this every day, so it's good. It's good to have something regular in your schedule, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah, I've been teaching a lot too, like coaching and things. So.
And everyone's still talking about the Sondheim concert. I mean, like the COVID moment, the legendary.
Actually, I found merch from somebody made a whole line of Ladies Who Lunch merch based on the Ladies Who Lunch.
No way.
Yeah,
I really think
I'm gonna get a hoodie.
Oh my God, incredible. I really think when I think back to this time, the image in my mind is gonna be like that Ladies Who Lunch on Zoom. Like nothing encapsulates this moment more to me than that.
I know, it's weird how it's become that thing.
And to me it was the opening, the overture. I was bawling watching it. It made me miss theater more than I even realized, to be honest. And it was beautiful because you were able to do that.
Marilee's like my favorite. That's my favorite. I love Marilee Roll Along so much. You know who directed a really good production of Marilee Roll Along?
Who?
This guy's husband.
Michael Arden.
Where?
In LA. In LA.
Oh my God, it was incredible.
It was just like I
finally learned how to do this.
I can't do it.
I need like a cheat sheet. I know. It's a weird. Ooh, it makes me feel like I can't control my limbs. You know what I mean? I don't like it.
No, that was a beautiful production, actually.
Let's
talk about this little theater project. We had Claiborne Elder here last week, actually, from Company, and he was talking about you're working on a crazy COVID-19 era theater project
with Van Hughes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just swore. With Van Hughes. Yes, it's super exciting.
Talk about it.
Michael got his start before Spring Awakening, which people think of as his start. His actual first directing project was this site-specific promenade production of La Ronde. It's played by Schnitzler's La Ronde.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to pause you for a minute. You're talking about his directing start?
Directing start.
We all knew he was in the times they are a-changing.
Yes,
we go way back. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes,
you mean as a fancy
He was in Encore's Juno. I mean, come on. Yes, as a director, his first directing project was this production of La Ronde in LA, which Van saw, which was you basically got like an address and you showed up at this address and there was an actor who you didn't know was an actor. You thought it was just a person on the street, and he led you along and you went to different locations. You like got on a bus, you got in a car, backyards, swimming pools, this like immersive, site-specific promenade production of La Ronde was his first thing, which then like led to Spring Awakening and led to his whole career. And so we live now primarily upstate in the Hudson Valley, and there's this business that we frequent that we love called the Vanderbilt Lakeside, this adorable little like inn and restaurant, which is like so many businesses going through a really tough time right now because they are deemed an essential business because they're a hotel, so they can't like close and collect any aid. They have to stay open, but no one's coming. So they're having a really tough time. So we were sitting around one day talking to the owners, and we were like, I wish there was something we could do. And Michael had this idea, just like Holiday Inn or something, like an old school musical to like put on a show, but like, how do we do that? And so he's like, what if we do the same sort of idea as La Ronde, but where you stay in your car, and we find a way to control the sound that's in your car, and perhaps it's lit by your headlights. And so you'll get dropped a pin on your phone, and you'll drive and come upon a scene in the middle of the woods or whatever, and you'll watch it, and you'll go to different locations, and the aggregate of those experiences will become a narrative. And so he started musing about this and reaching out to artists that he wanted to work with, like dancers, even like down to the stage management staff. He really handpicked a company and sort of like the old school like group theater way of like building an ensemble. And everybody said yes. And so we're working on this right now, and he's fundraising for it. I wish I had a link to share, but he's doing a Kickstarter, and we're hoping to do it potentially in late June, but as soon as it's permitted. And we have a doctor overseeing this, I should state. We have a doctor overseeing our whole process to make sure that it's safe for us and for everyone that will see it. And we're housing the company distanced at this inn, and so we're able to give them this big chunk of income. to help keep them going. And so that's sort of the
cool.
And so the point is really, it's hard to save this business, but also to hopefully design a model that we can then take to regional theaters that are looking for something to program, that need to program something before they're fully able to like open their whole auditorium back up. Like maybe we can go do this at like various places and do some kind of actual live theater. Because as cool as it is to see people we love reading plays we love over Zoom or whatever, there's just something about that live experience that we are all craving. And he's trying to pioneer a way to do it where everyone's still safe.
You know what else? There's great legroom in my car, so I'm fine sitting in my front seat of my car. That's
great. And you can bring anyone you've been quarantined with. That's what's great about we're selling it by car, not by like seat. So if you have been with 4 other people, you can pack in your car. They can all see the show. You know.
Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys can come in when it's closer and we can talk about that again.
Yeah.
So what else do you guys want to know? What song should they like? Brett, what's your favorite song out of these 4 songs? Nick, I want to hear like, what's your like go-to?
I love Hit Record, which was one of the kind of earlier songs that we wrote. And I think one of the first songs where we kind of cracked the sound a little bit. And we were like discovering something together.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the title song as well, Burn All Night. And
I know that one. I know that one.
A cool thing about that song, as opposed to a lot of pop songs you hear these days, is that the vocal in the song is Andy's original take, and there's no overdubs at all. It's just one vocal the entire time, which is, I think, really cool.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Badass, Andy.
It's a one-take Jake.
Yeah, thanks. Paul had us on his show. We did the acoustic version of that many moons ago.
Yeah. There's a video on our YouTube channel of that song.
Yeah.
You guys did it at 54 Below, right?
Well, now you can all hear the full version.
Yeah. It's rocking.
Dance party version.
Is mine playing? I also want to tell everyone watching that I downloaded it in like 2 minutes on my computer.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Well, and where does everybody do that? Right below. Burn All Night.
That one I can do. I can't do the left one.
That's why we're doing this. You guys, thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much for having us, Paul.
Of course.
Thank you.
This show has always been a scrappy little like making it in our bedrooms thing, and so we had this material to put out. We were like, how do we let anyone even know about this? And so I just emailed Paul, and he was very sweet to have us here on this major platform. And Krystina, thanks for coming and lending your reminiscences about the production. It means so much to me. Thank you so much, everybody.
Andy, Live at 5 is now a scrappy little do it in your bedroom show too. So
listen.
We're all meant for each other. Okay, cool. Keep us up to date on everything. Can't wait to see what happens with the show.
We'll do. Everyone enjoy the music. It's for you.
Yeah, burnallnight.bandcamp.com. I think we got good ticker action on here. Okay, I'm going to slide all you guys out. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye. Hi, Beth. How you doing?
I wish I had a shirt like that.
I
know you're jealous. I got this at Target, by the way. It's like $18.
Shout out, not sponsored.
You just have to have the right taste. I knew I liked Andy Mientus. Okay. Caitlin.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us? Why don't you take us out? I lost track of what I was saying.
I will gladly
take us out, and we'll see you all you guys tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another fun episode of Live at 5 Home Edition, live right here on Facebook and YouTube. You can keep up with us by searching wherever you get your podcast, by searching for hashtag Live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we talk to Catherine McPhee all about the Bombshell in Concert